What is going on, people? I am back with another vid. I have a gigantic announcement. Um, I just received word not too long ago that I have been. Oh, I got a burp. I just got word about an hour ago that the seasonal job that I applied for has accepted my application, meaning that on June 12th, I will start a seasonal job in Arizona, and I will work there for 5 months. They're going to give me a place to stay. I'm going to have 3 meals a day. This is a huge leap of faith that I'm taking in my life. I was very apprehensive about doing this, truth be told, for a few years now. I've been sitting on this for 4 years, and honestly, I kind of wish I would have done it 4 years ago, but honestly, this is the right time. I thought it was 4 years ago. I went back and forth on it. 4 or 5 years ago, actually. I think it was 5 years ago. It was probably closer to 5 years ago. And I went back and forth with it. In my head, I was like, maybe this isn't such a good idea. I don't know. No, 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 no. And I decided to pull the trigger. Upon deciding to pull the trigger, I've realized that this is the right call. And the reason that I know that this is the right call is because this is what my gut and my intuition is telling me to do. I made a video about intuition a few months back, and I said that, 9 times out of 10, your intuition is correct. And 9 times out of 10, when my intuition tells me to do something, I know it's the right call. And when I don't follow that, I live to regret it. When I do follow that, I live to not regret it. So, this is going to be a big change in my life. For those of you who might not know, which is probably most of you, I have never been a stranger to risk. I am pretty risk averse. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's the bad thing. I can be very impulsive. But it is my belief that the comfort zone is where dreams go to die. And it has been my dream for a couple of years now, 2 or 3 years now, for a while, to do a cross country road trip. I've been wanting to do a cross country road trip for a long time. I've been wanting to travel for a long time. And this is going to give me the opportunity to do it. I had to move back home a couple of years ago in October of 2023. I really reached a downward spiral, not just financially, but mentally and physically and spiritually. And I had to move back into my parents' house, folks, at the age of 27. Or I'm sorry, I was 26 at the time, I believe. Was I 26 or 27? I was 25 going on 26. I was almost 27. Or 26, I mean. I was almost 26. I was a couple of months away from being 26, and I had to move back into my parents' house. It happens. I've been reluctant to tell the internet that for a while now, just because I know how people can be. People are very judgmental, and they feel like, they just, I don't know. People make a lot of assumptions when you tell them that you're an adult that lives with their parents. And I know I'm going to get crucified. Quite frankly, I don't care. It is what it is, but I'm moving out on June 12th, the week of June 12th. So I guess Monday morning I'm just going to put my 2-week notice in and go my separate ways. Taking a big leap like this is always scary, but it's the scary decisions in life that I think can be the most rewarding. Now, when I say I'm risk averse, obviously I mean that within reason. I mean, you shouldn't go swim in a lake full of alligators, because if you do that, there's a good chance you could die. In fact, you probably will. But this is just one of those things that, like, I have to do this. And I can't explain why I have to do it. I'm not, I don't really have a reasonable explanation in terms of why this is the right move. I just know that it is. And I think that's one of those things that you can't really explain with logic and reason. I think there are some things that you just can't explain logically to people, and this is one of those things. When the universe or God puts something on your heart, um, you should listen to that. I think that is your intuition, that is your conscience, to listen to the signs. A lot of people see the signs and they hear the signs and they read the signs and they don't pay attention to the signs. And this is just one of those instances where I have to pay attention to the signs because they're everywhere. I've been seeing angel numbers for 6 fucking years now, and that's my spirit guides, I believe, trying to point me in the right direction. And I know deep in my heart that I wasn't meant to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. Like, I'm just not. I'm not built for this shit. And if you are somebody out there that works a 9 to 5 and you enjoy your job and you plan to stay at your job until you retire, congratulations. I know that sometimes with some of the things that I say on this channel, it seems like I'm like anti-work or anti-job. I'm not. In the capitalist system that we live under, it is required that we have a working class, assuming that we have to live in a society, which I don't believe we do, but that's for another video. Assuming that we have to live in a society, we need the working class. We have to have the working class. And so I will never shun anybody for working a job. I work a job, Any honest day's work for an honest wage is honorable. And I do believe that there are people on this planet, in this realm of existence, who were put here to work until they retire, to work a regular 9 to 5 job and just do the regular thing and have their regular retirement and all of that. I believe that there are people on this planet who were meant to live that way, and good for them. If that's the life you live and you're happy and you feel fulfilled, great. But there are some of us, and we are rare. We are a rare breed. We are the minority. There are some of us, like myself, who were not meant to live that way. We were meant to be entrepreneurs. We were meant to be travelers. We were meant to be creatives. We were meant to do our own thing. And what I'm saying to you all is that I can't do this shit for the rest of my life. My end goal is to travel. People ask me, I was asked all the time, growing up, what do you want to be when you grow up? You hear that all the fucking time when you're a kid. I wish I had $1 for every time I heard the words, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because I wouldn't have to have a job. I wouldn't have to make a living. I wouldn't have to make money because I would have all of it. But I just, truth be told, I never really fucking knew. And as an adult, what I can tell you, upon having some experiences and working in the rat race and trying a lot of different things and failing, trying and failing over and over and over again, one thing that I've learned is that at the end of the day, I just want to be free. I want to be able to stretch my arms and not feel any walls. And seasonal work is going to give me the opportunity to do that. Because if I can get one seasonal job, then I can get another seasonal job. And once I rack up enough money to stop working, then I can just travel full time. And that's really what I want to do. I want to travel and I want to continue to make these videos and I want to make music and express myself artistically and creatively and get paid to do it. And once I get myself to a position where I don't have to work anymore, I'm not gonna. And I know people are gonna say all kinds of things about me because they're so jealous. It's like, really, dude? Really? I'm doing what makes me happy. You know, what makes me happy isn't necessarily gonna make you happy, and vice versa. You know, people talk about the meaning of life. You know, what is the meaning of life? I think the meaning of life is whatever you want it to be. Truth be told, I don't think there is a quote unquote meaning to life. I think the meaning of life is just you do what makes you happy and you follow your excitement and you follow your intuition and you follow that and you let God take care of the rest. I think that's the meaning to life. There's a saying. I don't know if it's I think it's a Yiddish proverb or something. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's in the Bible. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. But it's we plan and God laughs. And when I first heard that saying, I didn't really know what the fuck that meant. I was like, what? What does that mean? You know, because I grew up an atheist. I was an atheist for years. I didn't believe in a higher power. I didn't believe in the afterlife or angels or any of that shit. None of the spirituality stuff that I believe in now. Um, you know, if you would have told me 10 years ago, you know, if you would have sat me down and said, hey, 10 years into the future, you're going to be a pagan, I would have laughed. I literally would have laughed in your face, like belly laughed in your face, and been like, what? I'm not going to be a fucking pagan. Those people are fucking lunatics. But that's probably the biggest change in me is that, you know, I used to not believe in a higher power, and now I definitely believe in a higher power because, you know, I've had too much happen to me over the past 6 years, and I've had too many downloads from a higher source that I know are from a higher source. And for me to still be an atheist, I mean, it just, you know, no disrespect to atheists, by the way, but, you know, I think they're full of shit too. I think religious people are full of shit, and I think atheists are full of shit. You know, just for different reasons. Um, But anyway, that's completely beside the point. What I am saying to you all is that I know in my heart that I have to do this, and I know that there are people who are going to watch this, and their guttural instinct is going to be like, "Oh, well, you know, what about a retirement, or what about, you know, do you even have a long-term plan, or what about, you know, do you want to get married and have kids? What if you want a house? What, you know, what are you going to do about a home? Like, you know, what are you going to do to secure your future? What are you know, do you plan on getting a career?" And it's like, you know, a lot of people are just trapped in this old school, like, hive mind mentality and this old idea of what success is and what success looks like. And I believe that success looks different for everybody. And it looks different for me than it does, I would say, most people. I just want to be able to travel full time and make my YouTube videos and make my music and not have to work anymore. And I know that's going to take work. You know, it's going to take a lot of saving money. You know, I'm not stupid. Um, and listen, I'm not saying that I want to be a digital nomad forever. You know, there may come a time down the road, you know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even, where I decide, you know what, I want to settle somewhere, you know. But for now, I want to see some stuff, you know. Humans are meant to be explorers. Since we had 2 feet, 2 working feet, 2 working legs, we have conquered and explored, and, you know, we're not meant to be stationary. That's why modern life kills. That's why modern life is killing us. You know, there's absolutely nothing worse for a human than sitting in an office all day in a cubicle underneath a bunch of fucking fluorescent lights. It's not good for you. You know, we're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be exploring. We're supposed to be seeing new things and meeting new people and having new experiences. And this is why I encourage everybody, I don't give a fuck who you are, to get out of your hometown. Just leave. As soon as you have the means to do it, fucking leave. Just go. Go. I think that's the only way you can really grow as a human being, you know? And that's what I have to do, you know? I've been in my hometown for way too long and I feel stagnant here. I feel like I'm not living up to my full potential because I've been trapped in this box. It's like especially when you live in the South. I live in the Bible Belt, and there's like a crab in a bucket mentality here a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that's for everybody, but like a lot of the time, you know, there's sort of a hive mind mentality, you know. And I'm sure it's like that in California too. I mean, I'm speaking with an air of ignorance because, you know, I've only ever lived in the South my whole life. I've never lived anywhere else. I've never really been anywhere else. And I want to go other places so that I can be maybe not so ignorant. But the gist of this video is that as you're watching this right now, I guarantee you have something that you've been sitting on for a long time. You have that one thing that you want to try, that you want to do, that you want to experience, and do it. Do it. I'm telling you right now, do it. You're going to be scared. You're going to be terrified. You're not going to want to do it. People are going to call you crazy. They're going to talk you out of it, or they're going to try to talk you out of it. Don't listen to them. Do the thing. You will figure it out as you go along. You take that risk. You make the big move. You take that leap of faith. Because the universe will take care of the rest. All you have to do is move in that general direction. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you did not enjoy this video, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And kiss my ass and eat it while you're at it. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace, love, and light.